Uh-oh. Hello once again everybody, welcome back to the TakeOver Racing League here on the Zach RC channel for this, the penultimate round of the second season of racing. Come to you live from the Marina Bay circuit here in beautiful Singapore for what I'm sure will be a very exciting qualifying session to kick this thing off. We're now just waiting for our first drivers to come out onto the track and get this thing underway, and we have our first driver making his way out of the pits now. We will soon switch to him, but first we'll just have to have a look at things before we get going. Alright, so here we go to get this thing underway. One of our first drivers out on the track, just here, getting ready to push for the victory today. Of course, if he did miss the last race, he came quite close to the win before a couple of penalties ended his chances. He'll be hoping that things got a bit differently for him today. Have a look at the drivers' championship going into this thing. It's looking like C110P fan is in the driving seat to win the championship, but Smoke and Cheese sits just 6 points behind him, tied on points with Iwardy after the absolute thriller at Silverstone last time out. Things are still shaping up for a really exciting championship battle. The championship can be claimed today, however the odds look very unlikely, and we'll keep you updated on what the championship will be looking like come the end of the session. Of course, qualifying crucial at Singapore, as usual, street circuits, quite difficult to make passes on, and especially in online races that can prove very challenging against a server full of human opponents. Keeping an eye on Deanologist here as he starts his outlap. He runs 5th place in the championship, having scored 79 points so far this season. He'll be looking for a victory to help finish season 2 strong. Through the tunnel he comes here, getting ready to start his first flying lap. The first driver to start their attempt, AXR Mitch for Ferrari, the number 46, as always getting going with his qualifying run. Very good start to the lap here, opens up the DRS down the straight he flies. Slight right hand kink there before going into the left hander. Quite a narrow turn to make there, as well as this next right hander here. Nice, smooth, fast and clean. That's him on a racing street circuit, and he's lost it just like that. AXR Mitch out of the session already, and it does look like he'll be starting from the back of the grid, having crashed here on his first timed run, and that is not the way you want to start a weekend in the TakeOver Racing League. Not what AXR Mitch would have wanted. So unfortunate for him, he's out the session. We now switch over to Dr. Guy, who's currently on his first time run. He's midway through Sector 2. Into the tight left there. Switching back to Deanologist here, is coming through the last couple of corners in Sector 3 now, as Dark Tommy CZ sets the fastest lap so far, 1:39.7, one of the reserves for this session. Of course, we saw a hell of a race from one of the reserves last time, Touch Me Pope, who is running in the Red Bull today by the looks of it. He took an excellent victory last time out. Silverstone, teammate of Deanologist at McLaren, who's just set the top time, a 1:35.8, very good time for the other drivers to try and beat in this session, as Iwardy goes second, a 1:38.5. Not the best of efforts to get this thing going, as Jonkin Gaming sets the second fastest time. Remember, he crashed out on qualifying last time at Silverstone. He'll be wanting to avoid that same fate for the second race in a row. Dr. Guy has gone 4th, bar 98, and 5th for Alpine. And Dark Tommy, his initial pole time, now only the 7th best on the road. Corkin started his first attempt in the Red Bull. Of course, still running the special Honda commemoration livery on the Red Bull. That's still in the F1 game until November 15th. So for those of you who haven't used it yet, might want to get out there and enjoy it while you still have it. There's a wheel still sitting down the track from AXR Mitch's initial attempt. Of course, he'll be starting at the back of the grid, unfortunately for him. If I was Corkin, I don't know if he's intending on completing this lap or going into the pits, but if it was me, I want to steer clear of bar 98, just being in that dirty air, which could do serious damage to his top speeds down these longer straights on the circuit. Deanologist time still on top, as his teammate Steven 471 is just set at 137.5. FG Alex is behind him at 137.8. We've got a yellow flag in sector 2, not quite sure what that's for. The yellow's been cleared now, back up to speed. Iwardi now running 6th. Oh, we've got Smoke and Cheese who's crashed here. And it's one of the championship contenders, Smoke and Cheese, who's lost his front wing, and that's going to ruin his qualifying attempt here. He's yet to set a time, and that's not good considering the championship contenders. One of them's already set a time, and the other one is on a time lap here, going through sector 3. C110P found the championship leader, but that will not be how Smoke and Cheese want to start the last 2 rounds of this championship. He's only 6 points back at the moment, but that can still very easily change. C110P found the Alpine now over the line at 137.1. Yellow in sector 2 and 3 here. I have to scroll through, see what that's for. Looks like it's all clear. Elusive Ace 2273, one of the reserves today. He's just set a 135.8, which is very, very close to Deanologist's initial time. Of course, Stephalicious not here today, so the reserve Elusive Ace taking that position at Mercedes, alongside the ever consistent Yonkin Gaming. Of course, the reserves have done rather well so far this season, having racked up around 70, 80 odd points so far, of the many that have been given so far. Deanologist now coming back out onto the racetrack by the looks of things. He was in the pits, he's coming back out now, looking to get another lap under his belt on those soft tyres. Just scroll through here, see if there's anyone heading towards the finish line. Dr. Garnice coming into the pits. He currently sits P10 at 138.4, his best effort. Iwardi runs 11th. That's a 138.5. Currently 6 places off his championship rival, with his other rival just 4 points behind, four places behind. Sorry. Of course, a victory for any of the title runners could mean the championship swings into their favour going into the last race. If Smoke and Cheese or Iwardi were to win, they would take the championship lead by 1 point over C110P fan, who was to finish 2nd. And this isn't C110P, but his teammate Bar 98 is coming back out onto the racetrack to begin his 2nd attempt at a flying lap. Optimash Prime has just started his first timed attempt. He had a decent race last time out at Silverstone in the AlphaTauri. He'll be looking to try and keep that form going. We get away from all this talk of the Drivers' Championship and move on to the Constructors here. Williams are leading the way, 135 to Alfa Romeo's 124. The efforts of both CF1 Thiago and FGG Alex pulling many points for them. They currently sit on 135 to Alfa Romeo's 124. The majority of those having been scored by Smoke and Cheese, the rest of them being scored by Dr. Guy and I, and multiple reserves. Alpine sit just 2 points back from them. Of course, C110P finally in the championship. Perhaps potentially the only reason they're up there is, and that kind of proved my point, is there's Bar 98 who's just spun it going into one of the last 2 corners in sector 2. He hasn't had the best of the season so far. Only 7 points to his name in the Alpine. And of course, not trying to badmouth him, but he has been outshined and outscored by his teammate over the course of the season. And should he continue on the TakeOver Racing League, I should think he'll want to change that next year, or next season, depending on when the next season is. Corkin's coming through Sector 1 now to start another effort. Right behind Smoke and Cheese, who's just making his way back out onto the track. The blue flag's out, and there he goes. No yellows, that's just the Cheese making his way through. There is a yellow in Sector 1 and 2. Well, I think that is just Smoke and Cheese. Gone a bit slower on his outlap. Wait, no, that's one of the, someone in front of him. Dinon just meanwhile is in Sector 2 trying to improve on his pole time. There's only 7 minutes left in the session now. Only 13 drivers have actually set a time. There's 5 drivers who are yet to set a lap. Of course, AXR Mitch out of the session. So he will start, most likely, provided everyone sets a time, he will start last of the 19 runners. We've almost got a full lobby today, which will hopefully make some closer and more intense racing on the track. As in comes the McLaren. There's a yellow in Sector 2. Has someone spun out somewhere, or they're multiple blue flags? Yep, that's Iwardy, who's just making his way around now. He'll be wanting to improve on this attempt, as will Smoke and Cheese, who went seriously slow for blue flags. I'm not quite sure what he's trying to do here. I think he's trying to let everyone by. There he goes. Although Iwardy's also in his outlap, so he didn't actually need to let his championship rival through. Here comes Iwardy now to start his timed run. He's got bar 98 who's come out just in front of him here. Blue flags obviously be in effect. Well, it should be in effect. Bar 98 should let Iwardy through. Showing no signs of stopping there in the other Alpine. Not sure what he's trying to accomplish. Iwardy's pulling over here. Not sure what he's doing. He's letting Smoke and Cheese through. Who's also on a time run. Not quite sure what he's trying to pull here. But he's let the Alfa Romeo through. And he's now off on his lap. We're gonna tap the wall there. Managed to keep it outlet. To the left he goes. Staying far away from the curbs. No one yet able to top Denologist's time of 1:35.8. Because the loser base came very close. He's currently on a run. He's going through Sector 3 here. Into the last couple of corners he flies. Can he beat the time? Here comes the Mercedes through the last corner. And over the line, he's lost it. He's around, and that's not going to be an improvement. He's lost his chance at the last corner. And I can't imagine how frustrating that must feel for a loser base to have come so close to a pole time. As here comes Smoke and Cheese around set P4. But still behind C1 10P fan, who amongst the chaos has set a 1 minute 36.0. Where is Iwardy at the moment? He's going around for another lap. Smoke and Cheese letting him through. Return the favour there. And now the AlphaTauri driver getting his first proper shot at a lap. Or rather his second shot, but first full shot here. You got a yellow flag, that's just blue flags. Into the left hand, there he goes. Everyone seeming really competitive tonight. Of course, the championship contenders, they know what's on the line going into that last race next week in Italy. Hope you join us for that one. It's going to be an absolute thriller of a race, as it always is in Monza. And most likely we'll be crowning our champion there, unless something goes drastically wrong for any of the title contenders, and that allows one of them to just come through and win the championship here. Steno just goes on his outlap up front. Not too long left to go now. Only 3 minutes left on the clock. Through the tunnel, or towards the tunnel goes Iwardy. Here he comes now. He'll be hoping to set a really good time. He looks to be around the same, if not slightly further behind as Elusive Ace when he set his time but then spun at the last corner. He could have a very good shot here as he comes into the last 2 turns and towards the line. Has he done enough? It's 5th place, a 1:36.24, just behind Smoke and Cheese, just behind C110P fan. But still higher up the grid than he was in P14 as Denologist is coming through Sector 2 now. Most likely looking to try and have one more timed run. Duncan Gaming's out the pits and going on currently on a lap. He's currently in 8th place, a 1:36.8. It's very close between these guys here. I was about a second off the top McLaren's time. Through the chicane he comes. The last couple of corners here. I don't think he has enough to upset the pole time. I think he knows that as well when he comes into the pits. The pit lane, very difficult to get into it from speeds here at Singapore, so you have to be careful if you don't want to crash. Paris T32 and Positive in the Aston Martin cars, running just one and two behind each other on their out laps. Smoke and Cheese retired from the session. Is that always going to get out of this? Might he lose more places? Currently sits down in P4. Iwadi pulling into the pits now. His run's done. It looks like C110P fans had a lap time invalidated. But granted, it's only his out lap. We're into the last minute now of the session. Loose face, if he wants to try and set a better time, he has a minute to try and get round. He's way overshot the corner. He's just trying to get around as quickly as he can. Currently sits behind Optimash Prime. Well, Denologist is actually on a lap here. He's hit the wall there, but if he could set a better time, then he may just about secure pole position here. He's still got it with 30 seconds to go, but he's slowing up. I think he knows he's not going to be able to get another one in here. He's going to try to go around for one more though. Getting his 3rd and final time lap. 3 drivers down here still yet to have set a time. Optimash Prime, last week's winner, Touch Me Pope, and Tinky Winky 77 in the Williams, all yet to set a time as the checkered flag falls. It looks like AXR Mitchell actually start in front of some drivers. Unless Optimash Prime has spun it at the last corner. He's going into the pits here. With no front wing left on his car. It looks like he'll be starting 17th for the race. As there goes Tinky Winky though, through and up into 10th place. A top 10 start just behind his more experienced teammate FGE Alex. Not too bad at all, of course. No CF1 Tiago today. Let's hope that the Williams driver can live up to that. We're just waiting for the last couple of cars now to make their way round. Iwadi starting 5th for this one right now. C110P in a provisional 3rd place. Positive Aston Martin comes flying through. Is he going to try and set a pole time here? I don't think he'll be close enough to do it. His best lap of 1:36 so far. I think he's a bit slower this time around than he was before. I think his lap's been invalidated now that I have to look at it. And now Touch Me Hope has just set a time 1:36.1. That's 4th place at the moment, so that puts Smoke and Cheese and Iwadi down a spot. And that puts them sitting together on row 3 as C110P fan comes through with 3rd place for him. As FGE Alex, the last driver to come in, and he's in the pits. The session's over, and it's Denologist who's come out on top. Another excellent pole position for Denologist. The qualifying maestro continues on and sets another pole time. and he will lead the grid down to turn 1 for what I'm sure will be an exciting Singapore Grand Prix, and I hope you join us for that. Hello everybody and welcome back to this Singapore Grand Prix. We're just about to get going for the formation lap here. DNR just an elusive ace, leading them away. 2 rounds left to go in Season 2 of the TakeOver Racing League. I'm really looking forward to this penultimate round of the championship. I hope you are too. So just a reminder, if you've just joined the stream, the championship could be decided today. It's very unlikely, but the championship could be decided today. C110P fan holds a 6-point lead over both Smoke and Cheese 86 and iWardy HD, 115 points to 109. If C110P fan was to finish in first place and neither one of those two were to score, then C110P fan will be the TakeOver Racing League champion. He starts from 3rd place on the grid. He's got a good chance, but will rely on both Smoke and Cheese and Iwardy having something happen to them. If either one of those two were to win the race, then they would take the lead of the championship by minimum 1 point with 1 round to go. The last race next week in Italy is going to be an absolute cracker, so I hope you'll join us for that. Dean just on pole position once again though. He'll be hoping to try and convert that one into victory. He's got 79 points to his name this season and could still pass CF1 Tiago in the championship for 4th. Tonight will be his best opportunity to do so, as CF1 Tiago isn't here. He's being replaced tonight by Tinky Winky 77 in the Williams. One of the reserves for today's race. And a look at the constructors going into this one. Williams lead the way by 135, so FG Alex and Tinky Winky 77 will be looking to get some more points for their charge. They sit 11 points ahead of Alfa Romeo. As Iwardy's been disqualified from the session, I think he must have made contact with Paris 232 on the formation lap. It's like camera 1 didn't actually catch that in the end. But that could mean Iwardy out of the championship just like that, but before the race even gotten started. Not what Iwardy would have wanted, or Paris 232 would have wanted either. So he's still got a chance at a decent finish in the championship, potentially even a top 10 finish. And that leaves the championship down to just these two drivers, C110P Fan and Smoke and Cheese 86, separated by last week's winner, Touch Me Pope, who won for McLaren at Silverstone last time out. Of course, Stephen 471 is back today. Hoping to make a splash in his return to the TORL. There we go. As here comes Deanologist now through the final corner and towards the line to line up on the grid for what I'm sure will be a very exciting Grand Prix. So here they are now, the last cars lining up on the grid. It's looking like a fantastic race. 17 drivers will now be pulling away into turn 1. AXR Mitch and Optimash Prime to get the last spots on the grid. Here we go. Six points separating the top two contenders going into this last race as the lights come on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights for the penultimate race, the TakeOver Racing League Season 2, and it's go, go, go. And we're underway as the race towards Turn 1 begins, and there's already been a spin in the back, and there's been a huge crash going towards Turn 1. Deanologist has pulled away. Around goes Touch Me Pope. Of course, the ghosting is on, so he's okay. No damage done to anyone on the start, but AXR Mitch hasn't the best start either. He's still back there down in 18th. Deanologist has pulled away. Elizabeth's running second by just over half second in the Mercedes, and it's C110P Fan who stays in third. Iwardy, who's now somehow back in the race after being disqualified. I think something must have gone wrong there. But regardless, he's still in the race and he's running P4. Smoke and Cheese has lost a place on the... Well, no, he kept a place on the start, staying neutral as to where he is. Afro Ninja, Deanologist has left the session. His AI will still continue to drive on until he returns. He must have disconnected there, but still continues on with a half-second lead over Elusive Ace, the reserve today, looking for potentially a first victory in the TakeOver Racing League. Here come the leaders now, half-second separating the top two. Deanologist continues to show the way. As you look at the predicted pit stop strategy powered by Amazon there, it's looking at a two-stop race here. Either from softs going on to different sets of mediums, or soft going to medium and then hard. You never really know with this race, and never quite know what these drivers have up their sleeves in the way of strategies. Iwardy looking to try and take on C110P Fan for the first time today. He ducks back into line. Smart decision, he doesn't want to jeopardise anything too early on, and could potentially wait for C110P to make a mistake, although he may not be able to find a passing opportunity even if the Alpine driver ahead does, because of how narrow this track is. Meanwhile, Lucifer is trying to challenge Deanologist for the lead, who's managing to hold on with AI managing to hold on this AI substitute, and there goes Lucifer to the inside now. A bit of ghosting there, but Lucifer takes the lead in the Mercedes and going back down towards turn 1 to begin the second lap of the 31 that will make up this Singapore Grand Prix. As C110P Fan continues to hold off Iwardy. Deanologist starting to drop back now as C110P closes in the Alpine. Smoke and Cheese still running 6. Touch Me Pope has starting to make up places again. He's just managed to find his way past Iwardy's teammate Optimash Prime and the other Alpha Tauri. His next target is C110P Fan's teammate Bar 98. So Touch Me Pope taking on all of the teammates of the championship rivals today. And next up, a couple of places in front of him is Dr. Gyno, is being challenged by Cork and Zero, going in to the left-hander. They're side by side, wheel to wheel, and it's Corkin who has the edge. I think he locked up a bit there. Like might have been Stephen 471 in front of him, who's up in the points now. Paris T32 is in the pits here. He must have had damage, as did FGG Alex, as did Jonkin Gaming. They must have had some kind of damage from that turn 1 collision. Regardless, all three are now back in the race, so they may be forced to fight each other here up until the first pit stop. So it's Elusive Ace now in control of this race. C110P fans up into second. Deanologist, I think he's back now, so he's continuing on in this race. As there goes the McLaren on the inside. He's managed to make the move stick just like that. Yep, he is reconnected, and he is back with a bang. Back up into second place. So he's got work to do now to try and close down Elusive Ace once again, who already seems primed to go ahead for trying to take victory, but there's still a long way to go in this Singapore Grand Prix. Anything can still happen in the TakeOver Racing League. It normally does. Deanologist, though, back up into second. He'll be starting to hunt down the Mercedes in front of him while defending from the two title rivals behind him. There's a yellow flag here in Sector 3, and his Afro Ninja has gone off in the Ferrari, and he's taken, I think he's taken Dr. Gyno with him. No damage is done to either one of these cars. Deanologist is out. Deanologist has retired from the race. Just like that, he spun the car. I think he must have crashed there. We didn't pick that up, so apologies, but Deanologist out of the race from the lead, and that's another pole position, unfortunately, down the drain for Deanologist, as frustrating as it may be. And Elusive Ace is slowing up here. Is there a safety car? I think we're okay for the time being. There might be a virtual safety car here, but we're able to see on the trackside signs here that Deanologist has led the session. Yep, virtual safety car on the racetrack. So it's Elusive Ace who's taking control here. He's assumed the lead from second place on the grid in the early days of this Singapore Grand Prix. It's C110P fan in second and Iwardi in third as the DRS gets enabled mid VSC. Smoke and Cheese running in fourth, and touch of the title runners all right there. As of now, it does look like Iwardi will have the lead by 4 points going into this last race over Iwardi, with Smoke and Cheese another 3 points back. So still looking like C110P fan's game. He's definitely still in the driver's seat. We're back to racing here. The green flag back out. We're back underway in this Singapore Grand Prix on lap 3. C110P fan just outside DRS range. That's not where he'll want to be. He'll want to be within 1 second of the race leader. So this fast now in control of this race. C110P fans still just outside that DRS zone. Iwardi will be closing in, as will Smoke and Cheese. However, not as quickly because he's outside of DRS range for Iwardi. Tinky Winky 77 had a mega start here. He's up into 5th place. So he's done very well to get this thing going. It's Dark Tommy CZ currently runs in 6th, and it's Corkin behind him in 7th, having just passed Stephen 471. Touch Me Pope in 9th. He's back up into the points, as is Bar 98. XR Mitch is making progress now. He's running 12th. He almost lost it a bit there coming out of turn 3. He's all good though, continues on in the Ferrari with his teammate Afro Ninja running just behind. Let's go back up to the front of the field. Elusive Ace still up front now. He's less than half a second in front of C110P fan, who's quickly closed him down. There's a yellow in sector 3 here. It looks like Paris T32's had a problem. He spun the car. He's going to have to reverse that, get it back out, as Jonkin Gaming sets the fast lap of the race at 141.5. Here comes the Mercedes, followed by the Alpine and AlphaTauri cars. It's the Alfa Romeo Smoke and Cheese running just behind us. Tinky Winky is starting to close up on this train very quickly. That's the DRS for C110P fan. Still about half a second back. A couple of good corners and he could be able to close that gap. The championship leader about to prove himself to the reserve driver in the lead of this race. Coming through the last couple of corners now. C110P went a bit wide there on exit. That could allow Iwardi to try and capitalise if he has a good enough exit through his last couple of corners himself. Smoke and Cheese is caught right back up with them now. Towards turn 1, Tinky Winky's just set the fastest lap at 141.4 once again, beating Duncan's 141.5 as Iwardy's running right there behind the championship leader. The second, third and fourth place drivers who run 1, 2, 3 in the current championship standings, all behind Elusive Ice here as he continues to lead the way. Smoke and Cheese is closing in now. Will he try and go for the move on the inside? Thinks better of it. Tucks back into line behind the AlphaTauri in front. But a mistake could allow him to go and quickly capitalise should Iwardy make one of his positive sets of fastest lap of 1:40.5. That was a very good time from the Aston Martin driver. There's been a collision here. Stephen 471 is slow. He's managed to get back on the pace though. As Bar 98 loses out to Touch Me Pope. He's now back up into 8th place, doing a very good job. Dark Tommy CZ doing quite a good job himself. He's running in the 7th position, closing in on Corkin Zero, who's running 6th, obviously. Riding on board now with the Haas driver. Elusive Ice still in control. Of course, it can be difficult to overtake at Singapore. There's only so many opportunities on the racetrack. I'm already going a bit wider there in the first part of that chicane as Tinky Winky closes in multiple times as Smoke and Cheese look for an opportunity as FG Alex sets the fast lap, and after an injury has a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. That could have been for track limits, that could have been for contact, we'll never know. As in come some of the leaders into the pits, Iwardy almost lost it going in there, as Iwardy has a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Will he be able to serve that here? Smoke and Cheese is in. So 2 of the title contenders in already. AlphaTauri driver switching onto those medium tyres and he's away, not serving that penalty. Dark Tommy CZ has already got a 3-second time penalty as well. He joins Afra Ninja and Iwardy in having those penalties. So it looks like Iwardy will either have to have that tacked onto his time at the end of the race, or have to have that served in the pits the next time he makes a stop. All of this now leaves C110P fan alone to challenge Elusive Ice in front of him, who leads the way by almost a second here. He's doing a very good job. Definitely holding his own and holding the lead in the opening stages of the Singapore Grand Prix. We're still on lap 6, so like I say, still a very long way to go in this thing. But definitely no way over. There's a yellow flag in Sector 2. Let's go and see what that's for. Looks like Optimus Prime has had a collision with someone. He's lost his front wing. And he's going to have to drive all the way back round to the pits for a new one here, and that could be difficult with Singapore being so narrow and having less turning ability with the front wing gone from the race car. He'll be hoping not to hold of his teammate too much, who's quickly closing on him. That is not what the AlphaTauri pair want to see, what with them running 4th in the standings. Just 3 points off Alfa Romeo and 1 point off of Alpine. Prime's gone a bit wide there, the ghosting on, and that allows Iwardy through. It also allows Smoke and Cheese through. These two continue to charge forward. As Tinky Winky has passed C110P fan, but he's into the pits. So that leaves 2 reserves in the lead of this race. Corkin up into 3rd and Touch Me Pope taking 4th. The Red Bulls still doing very well so far here. Definitely in contention for the victory should something go wrong for the leaders. As the championship leader exits his pit box, is he going to come out in front of Iwardy and in front of Smoke and Cheese? I think he is. He might just make it out in front. Here come the 2 championship contenders down the home straight, chasing down the leader. And they've both made their way in front. So strategy has paid off for Iwardy and for Smoke and Cheese. They're now ahead of the championship leader, and that could close things right back up. Although, of course, none of them are in the points right now. So things will still remain the same going into the final race. When everyone else pits and shuffles out, that could mean a very different race here. As Bar 98 looks to have a problem. Well, no, Bar 98 is up there in 6th place. That's not quite sure what happened here. It's FG Alex, who I think may have spun it somewhere or just slowed up because of the yellow flag there. Elusive Ice has Tinky Winky 77 for company. Down the DRS straight they come. And this could get dicey. Here we go. Will he try and go for a move? He's not going to dive in. I think he thought about it and then decided not to. So good choice there. He could definitely get a better opportunity at Elusive Ice throughout Sector 3, or at least at the exit of Sector 3 and going on to the next lap. Unless, of course, they both choose to pit. Have a look at the position change so far. Dark Tommy CZ and Corkin have had the best starts, as well as XR Mitch. They've all gained 10 places, and Corkin's gained 12, and Bar 98's gained 11. So all these guys are good starts. Tinky Winky gained 9, Elusive Ice gained 1 from Dean Lodge just off the start, who's caused out of the race. Biggest loser so far is C110P fan, who's lost 8 places. Sorry, he's lost 10 places. Well, that's due to him pitting. So Once everything cycles out again, we'll be able to see properly who's done what. FG Alex has already set 2 stops in this race. Everyone else has said the top 10 has set just 1. Only Elusive Ice remains on those soft tyres as Tinky Winky's taking the lead here. I think Elusive Ice must have made a mistake somewhere. It's now the Williams driver of Tinky Winky replacing CF1 Tiago. Showing all the skill of CF1 Tiago in his car as he now shows the way in this Singapore Grand Prix. Around a quarter of the way through the Singapore Grand Prix. Let's come back to Iwardy and Smoking Cheese. Looks like we caught him just in time. Smoking Cheese is going for a move. He's on the inside there, but I think he's going to try and back out here as Iwardy defends. He's going to go around the outside, trying to go for the switchback, slow him fast out. He's trying it, can't get anywhere. Still has to tuck in behind the AlphaTauri unless he can try here. Going into this next left-hander, this is going to get close. If he tries to go for it, doesn't go for it. Smoking Cheese continues to bide his time while the Alpine of C110P fan closes in on the 2 title runners he's been running with throughout the season. Of course, Iwardy has a penalty, so that puts Smoking Cheese ahead. C110P fan, I think he's close enough to be able to capitalise from that. Scroll back up to the front. Are either one of these two looking to pit? They're not, as AXR Mitch has a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. He becomes the 4th driver to be given a penalty in this race of the 18 runners we have remaining. And Steven 471 becomes the 5th driver. He's also got a 3-second time penalty for the same reason. He might be sizing up a move on bar 98 here as we head down to turn 1. He's following the toe, gaining all the time into turn 1. He's there, and going into that first corner, it's Steven 471 who takes over 6th place as C110P fan sets the fastest lap as bar 98 gets a 3-second time penalty for warnings himself. That's 6 drivers just like that have all got penalties. AXR Mitch is continuing his charge back through the field after crashing in qualifying. He's running up in the 8th position but trying to pass the Alpine down this next straight, but he's got to be careful because he's got his teammate behind him for company, albeit quite far back. He's not going to look to the inside. It'd be stupid to go for a move from there, going for a dive very late on in the straight. Tinky Winky now has a 2nd lead over Elusive Ice in 2nd place. These two are doing very well so far with their limited experience in the TakeOver Racing League. They need to hold their own. Touch Me Pope, of course, our newest winner in the TakeOver Racing League, running in 3rd place, and it's Corkin in 4th, his teammate Dark Tommy TZ in 5th but has a penalty. Then it's Steven 471, Bar 98, AXR Mitch, Afro Ninja 2020, and Dr. Gyno has the last point, but he's looking to change that. There he is on the outside of Afro Ninja, going into the the right hander, sorry. He's lost out to Iwardy, and Smoking Cheese might try and capitalise. There he is on the inside, and this could get really dicey. Into the corner they come. Smoking Cheese forced a long way around, but he's got the inside. It's very narrow. He very nearly clipped the barrier there. Going into the chicane. This could end really poorly. Iwardy thinks better of it. Smart decision. Backs out and tries to go around the outside there. This is great racing. Into the last couple of corners they come. Afro Ninja in the Ferrari, not looking to hold up Smoking Cheese too much. I dare say he'll try and go for a move down this next straight so he stay close enough. He needs a good exit though, and he's got one. Down the home straight they come. Afro Ninja defending all the way to the inside. Rubs him right towards the wall. I think he clipped it there. But going into turn 1, he has the place over Afro Ninja. And that was incredible driving as Iwardy goes way wide there. And that allows Dr. Guy and Iron to try and make a move. Afro Ninja falling back now. There goes Iwardy on the inside. And that puts him up into the points once again. So closing a bit now on C110P fan. The championship is still runs 13th. He's got DRS now on Dr. Guy and the Alfa Romeo as they charge down this next straight into the left-hander. Will he try and go for a move? He goes around the outside. Forced a long way around as Iwardy gets pushed wide by Afro Ninja. Sorry, is that Afro Ninja? Yes, it is. Dr. Guy and I tried to make a move but fell out of there as Iwardy holds on to 10th place and Smoking Cheese pulls away. What an exciting race this is so far in the midfield. All while Tinky Winky and Elusive Ice continue to hold on to the top 2 spots. Touch Me Pope though closing in on the Mercedes driver in front of him. He's driven a really good race so far. He's looking to try and move him to 2nd place. Still, this is all very exciting. Smoking Cheese now up into 8th place, having passed AXR Mitch. Iwardy looking to try and go through there as well. Smoking Cheese is there. Mitch locks up, and that's going to allow Iwardy in. There he goes around the outside. And that's why these guys are contending for the championship. They know how to make these moves. And they can make these moves, and they haven't come away with a single bit of damage. And they still run 1-2 behind each other. Iwardi could be looking to change that though, should he get a good exit out of the final corner. Tinky Winky and Touch Me Poke still running on those medium tyres. Iwardi comes to the last corner. Smoking Cheese is closing on bar 98. There he goes to the inside, in towards that first corner, and that's P7 secure. There's a yellow flag in sector 1. Not quite sure what that's for, but everyone's okay, so we're going to keep going. Iwardi now looking to try and follow Smoking Cheese through. He'll have DRS down this next straight, so I dare say he'll try and make a move here. And bar 98's got a particularly poor exit. DRS opens up, down the straight they come. Gaining all the time, getting a very good toe. Down the straight, he's fallen away a bit. Will he try and go for a move? Nope, thinks better of it. Ducks in line, there's a bit of contact, and bar 98 spins, there he goes. He's just about managed to hang on to the car, but Iwardi's through. When Iwardi's had to slow up to allow them through. What's happened to him? He's slowed big time, that's him back down to P13. What on earth happened there? Bar 98 spins it just in front of his teammate. All this puts Smoking Cheese in a very good situation. And this puts him tied at the top of the championship with C110P fans. If he can take 6th place here, that'll be him in the championship lead. He does. 8 points. That's 2. I believe that's 2 points in front now. Is Smoking Cheese? Yes, he is. That's 2 points in front now in the TakeOver Racing League Drivers' Championship for Smoking Cheese. As of now, he stands as your championship leader. I dare say C110P and Iwardi will be looking to change that as soon as they make their way around bar 98, who holds the 11th place. And there he goes. He's crashed. Bar 98 out of the race just like that, going a bit too high and crashing. And there's the safety car. And Luther Ice and Tinky Winky have somehow seized this opportunity perfectly. They're in the pits. On for new sets of medium tyres. Stephen 471's just got a penalty for speeding in the pits. Won't be what McLaren would have wanted, as has AXR Mitch. Bar 98 though out of the race. Unless C110P fan takes a good finish here, that could mean the bitter end of Alpine's Constructor Championship Challenge, as Elusivice comes out just in front of C110P fan. Tinky Winky 77 way out ahead. And when things circle back round, he should be leading the way, because the top 4 in front of him will have to, or the top 3 in front of him will have to pit. Smoking Cheese has seized this perfectly. It looks like he'll most likely be in the lead. So things have gone very well for Smoking Cheese so far. With one of his title rivals out of the points, the other one down in 9th. That's enough, still enough for him to take the lead of the championship. But what exciting opening 12 laps this has been so far in Singapore. So get a bit of a breather here as everyone slows down. So it's Touch Me Pope now in the lead. Corkin in 2nd, it's Red Bull 1-2 and Dark Tommy CZ 3rd. AXR Mitch has a drive penalty for speeding under the safety car. I guess he failed to adhere to the delta times being set. So look at those penalties now. So Dark Tommy CZ, Afro Ninja, and Positive in the Aston Martin, they all have penalties worth 3 seconds. Steven 471 has 8 seconds worth of penalty to serve, and AXR Mitch has a drive-through, which, if he can, will most likely serve under the safety car. Touch Me Pope and Corkin both coming into the pits here, and this could be somewhat cautious as they look to try and double stack here, but they've executed it perfectly. And as Corkin makes his way into the pits, they've done a very good job at coordinating this. A bit of a slow start to the stop there, but they managed to get away in time. As Smoking Cheese now has a 5-second penalty for a severe collision with Dark Tommy CZ. They must have tapped each other coming into the pits. But Smoking Cheese should be able to potentially serve this penalty now. Will AXR Mitch come in and serve his stop? Sorry, his penalty. There's the Haas driver, he's away. Smoking Cheese comes out just in front of him, who hasn't served his penalty by the looks of it. Unless the thing changes when he comes out the pits. Nope, he hasn't served it. So if they join up now behind the Aston Martin safety car, we'll get a look at the full order as they run when everyone catches all the way up. This will be a good opportunity for FG Alex to catch all the way up, as with Optimash Prime and Paris T32. Yonkin Gaming isn't really with the pack. Iwody's down in P13, so a good restart for him to turn him back up into the points. And C110P Fan now runs in 5th place ahead of Smoke and Cheese. So that means he'll extend his championship lead by 6 points, which will put him 12 ahead going into the last race. While we're under the safety car, we'll be able to give you a look at the Drivers' Championship so you can see it for yourself. So there is your look at the Drivers' Championship standings. C110P Fan ahead by 6 points coming into this thing. Of course, these aren't live, but of course that could change later on in the race. But right now he's 12 points in front in the Drivers' Championship. Depends on how much longer the safety car will be out for. I presume it'll be around for one or two more laps before we go racing again. So with most of the field now behind the safety car, let's have a look at how they run. It's Touch Me Hope in first place once again, this time for Red Bull. It's Tinky Winky in 77 in second place. He's had a very good start to this race so far, who we want to continue that. Dr. Guyana, who runs in third place, looking to try and get some more points to his name, to add 8 he already has. Elusive Ice in fourth place, who ran the lead very early on after Deanologist's retirement. Deanologist who can't seem to catch a break, unfortunately. C110P Fan runs 5th, that means he extends his championship lead to 12 points as of now. Corkin in 6th, he ran in 4th for the majority of that first stint. He'll be looking to try and move back up on the restart. Stephen 471 running 7th on his return to TakeOver Racing League. 8th goes to Smoke and Cheese, who of course was briefly ahead but decided to make a stop onto another set of medium tyres. Dark Tommy CZ in 9th place, he also had a penalty to go with Smoke and Cheeses, so there was a collision between the two of them coming into the pits. AXR Mitch from his crash in qualifying now sits 10th place. So that's a small amount of points here to get himself going. He currently sits 1 point and 1 place ahead of his teammate after an injured 2020. 1 point separates those two in the championship. It's positive in 12th place for Aston Martin. It's Iwardy in 13th. He's got some serious work to do here if he wants to stay in this championship fight, because it's not looking good for him. It's looking like curtains in this race. Yonkin Gaming sits in P14 for Mercedes. Not the best of runs for him today. He'll be looking to fix that later on in the race. Paris T32 in 15th, of course, had a bit of an incident earlier on in the race, but this is an opportunity for him to try and fight back. Optimash running in 16th place. He's just trying to catch up. It's FGE Alex in 17th place for Williams. Bar 98 it will finish in 18th after that crash that brought out the safety car. And of course, Deanologist retired earlier on the race and gave Elusive Ice the lead. So it looks like the safety car will still be around for one more lap before we go racing again, unless the lights go out on the car now. They won't. So I hope you're all enjoying this race so far. I've got on word there's looking like a chance of rain later on in the race, according to one of the drivers, which I've just seen in the chat. According to Positive in the Aston Martin, we're getting reports of potential rain coming into this race, which could make things a whole lot more interesting than they already are in this second half of the race, which we'll be reaching when the safety car comes back in. So we're unsure of whether there will be rain, but if there is, then that could make this thing a whole lot more interesting later on. I mean, I for one, I'm yet to see a wet race in the TakeOver Racing League, so I'm looking forward to seeing how the drivers react to it. middle of the field now, bunched back up together. When we get to sector 3, if they like to go out, then we'll have a start. As of now, we have 16 laps left to go in this Grand Prix. It's been a very exciting first half of the race until the safety car came out. Everyone will be looking to get back to action. Take a look at the tyres everyone's on before we get underway again. Almost everyone is pitted except for Dr. Gyno, who still stays on these hard tyres. Safety car in this lap. Here we go. We'll have a restart now on this next lap. Everyone's pitted for either for a set of mediums, or everyone's gone for a set of mediums except for Stephen 471, who's on a set of hard tyres. Those should take him to the end of the race. And Dr. Gyno, who's still on the same set of hard tyres he was at the start. We're unsure how long he'll be looking to stay on those, but I doubt the grip will be too good. I'm going to change the intervals now to the distance to the leader. Oh, and Touch Me Poke very nearly spun out there. That wouldn't have been very good. It would have compounded the situation and slowed the restart. The safety car pulling away here. Now, what would Touch Me Poke's strategy here be? Of course, he was up the front last time. We had a safety car restart at Silverstone. The safety car is in. He's looks to be bunching everyone up. So wait for the green flag. He's pulling away here. And the green flag is back out and back underway here on lap number 16 for the Singapore Grand Prix. Dr. Gyno immediately defending from elusive ice, goes round the outside going into turn 1. What a start there from the Mercedes driver. He's looking to get right back up into the lead. Touch Me Poke is holding on to the top spot now. He's already got a second lead over Tinky Winky 77 and Elusive Ice, both of whom were leading this race earlier on, but I think he wants to change. I think the Mercedes wants to change that. He's got that penalty, so he wants to get away from everyone as quickly as he can. He's running right behind the Williams driver. He pulls out to the right hand side. He'll be going around the outside, going into the corner, but I think he's made it clear. Yes, he has. What a start from Elusive Ice. He's managed to work his way up within 1 second now of Touch Me Pope in the Red Bull. A C110P fan runs in 4th place. Where is Iward? He still runs in 13th. Everyone's coming very close to contacting him. I'm surprised there's been no real damage to anyone. Doc Tommy CZ has a broken front wing though, so there we go. There has been a bit of contact. I'm not sure who he hit. He may have hit Smoking Cheese, who has no damage on his car. He's okay for the time being, as only Corkin separates him from his championship rival. A legal overtake has caused Doc Tommy CZ to get a penalty, and he's fallen all the way back, trying to cancel out the illegal overtake, and he's got broken one front wing too, so he may have made contact with. There's more damage. So we saw another front wing flap in the air. That's positive front wing. A lot of damage done this start now. Smoking Cheese darting around, trying to find a way through Corkin. In the Red Bull, I dare say he'll have a very good chance down the home straight should he choose to go for it, and should he get a good enough exit. Corkin ran very wide there. Elusive Ice just at the fastest lap after Touch Me Hope did. Here we go now. The DRS, there's no DRS down this home straight for him. Hasn't been enabled yet, but he's still there on the inside, and there he goes, Smoking Cheese up into 5th place. But right now the championship lead is up by 8 points to C110P fans' advantage. Smoking Cheese will be looking to change that. Remember, if he can win the race, then he'll have the championship lead going into the last round of the season, no matter where C110P fan finishes or where Iwardy finishes. That's how close this championship is finished. Speaking of Iwardy, he's right up there now, back up into points, battling AXR Mitch and Dr. Guy and I. In the case of Alfa Romeo, they'll be looking to keep Iwardy behind as Mitch goes around the outside and takes P8 from the Alfa Romeo driver. And Iwardy looking to capitalise now. He's down the left-hand side. There he goes, going into the right-hander. He's on the outside now. Dr. Guy and I forces him the long way around, but he gets this excellent come out the last corner. Goes for the switch back, and it pays off, and around the outside goes Iwardy. Spectacular racing there. And that puts him up into P9 as Paris T32 also capitalises. It's not been the best of restarts for Dr. Guy and I, and he still runs back there. He now runs back there in P11. Iwardy, though, he's not finished yet. He's going to try and take on AXR Mitch here as they come back down the DRS straight. He's got a really good exit on the inside. They run side by side, and there goes the AlphaTauri up into P8. What a restart for Iwardy as well. C110P fan, we've missed Smoking Cheese making his way through, but he's gone way deep going into the corner, and Iwardy now has a 3-second time penalty. Not sure what that's for. Multiple warnings by the looks of it, and that'll tack on to what he already has. Look at the amount of penalties. Just for 3 seconds. Forgive me, he was the only one who didn't actually have a penalty of the championship runners. Well, that and C110P fan. Smoking Cheese, though, has taken the spot away from C110P, and he'll be looking to pull away, try and eliminate any hopes of gaining through that penalty. Elusive Ice running a second behind Touch Me Pope now. It still continues to hold on to this lead. Touch Me Pope could bring himself as high as potentially 8th place in the championship should he win today in the space of just 2 rounds. The victory last time at Silverstone was his first points in the TakeOver Racing League. And Iwardy's had an instant here. He must have spun out because he's right way back there in P13, so he's back to square one again for Iwardy. Things just aren't going his way today on the day he needed them to go his way. Right now, it is looking like his chance at the championship are very slim. He's got serious work to do as Tinky Winky now has a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Only 6 drivers actually don't have penalties in this race so far, and one of them is Touch Me Pope. He's currently our race leader. Technically leading by 4.5 seconds when that 3 seconds get added on for elusive ice. Towards the end of the race, we'll have to be looking at those penalties to be seeing who will come out where. I mean, a lot of drivers could choose to serve them in the pits and now get rid of them just like that. With the last couple of corners he comes now. Ready to start lap number 19. Nearly 2/3 of the way through this Grand Prix. It's been a very enjoyable one so far. Smoke and Cheese has really pulled away from C1's MP fan. He'll be looking to try and pass Tinky Winky down this next straight. I doubt he'll be close enough even with the DRS, but he could have a very good run going down the second DRS straight on the lap, which come up in a few corners time. So get ready for what could be a very exciting battle here between the Williams and the Alfa Romeo. Of course, Williams currently leading the Constructors Championship. They'll be looking to keep it that way for Tinky Winky 77 and for FG Alex, who's working his way back up into the points now. He runs in P9. Smoke and Cheese now on the inside. He goes around the outside now, going into the next corner, and there he goes up into the podium places once again. However, still technically running 2 seconds behind Tinky Winky at the flag. He'll need to get 2 seconds in front as Dark Tommy CC gets another penalty. He currently runs in 17th place. It's positive comes through the last corner. He's got a 3-second time penalty to his name to serve. Iwardy's in the pit lane now. He's bolting on a set of soft tyres. Is he looking to try to go to the end of the race on those? There's been a yellow flag. It looks like CC has spun it out. Yes, he has. He spun the car. He's having to back things up and get things going again. Touch Me Pope and Elusive Ice still running very close to each other. It doesn't look like they'll be catching Dark Tommy to the point where he'll be in the way. It looks like he's going into the pits. He is. He's got another 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and Dark Tommy CC has retired from the session just like that. Retiring in the pit lane. His race is over. And a race that looks so promising and perhaps even on for points has all gone wrong for Dark Tommy CZ and for Haas. Their last hope now in the race remains Paris T32, who runs in the 8th spot, closing in on Stephen 471. Only 12 laps to go left in this thing. 1.5 seconds now, the gap between Touch Me Pope and Elusive Ice in the race for the top spot. C1's MP fan in decent position to try and hold on to the championship lead going into this last race by just 1 point over Smoke and Cheese. Keep things incredibly close going into the last race. While things still looking poor for Iwardy here. He's on those soft tyres, but he's got to gain a serious amount if he wants any chance of even scoring points. It all depends on who chooses to come to the pits and who doesn't. We'll have a look now at what tyres everyone's on, how long they've been on them for. I reckon they may try and run to the end of the race and maybe go onto a set of soft tyres. That safety car definitely threw a wrench in a lot of people's plans. Stephen 471 could be in good position to try and go to the end of the race on those hard tyres. He may have made the right decision to go onto those under the safety car. C110P fans been on his soft tyres for been on his medium tyres for longer than anyone else. He's been on those for 12 laps. Most likely he'll be looking to go onto a set of soft tyres coming the end of the race. Smoke and Cheese now still trying to close that gap. He's currently running ahead of C110P, and that will be just a few more points because of that penalty. Corkin's closing in on C110P now. He had DRS down that last straight. If he can get close enough this time, he could have a serious go at the place. Paris T32 now right behind the McLaren of Stephen 471. He's going to have DRS this time as they come down this next straight. Off the corner they come. The DRS is open. Here he comes now. Will he try and go to the left? Yes, he will. He dives. He's trying to move inside, but doesn't. But in the end, backs out of it. Does he see a better chance elsewhere? He's diving to the inside there. Stephen locks up. And if he hadn't locked up, that could have been a very scary situation for both cars. The Haas driver darting from side to side, trying to find an opening. Stephen 471's defensive driving knows no bounds. It's practically impeccable here around these narrow streets. And Paris unable to get through there. There's a bit of contact there, and he's moved him out of the way. Paris 232's just shoved Stephen 471 out of the way there. The ghosting turned on, but he's managed to find a way through just like that. Contact was definitely made there. For what other reason would he have gone up the track? Ten more laps left to go in this thing. It's still Touch Me Pope with a decent lead of at least 6.5 seconds over Elusive Ice. Thanks to the penalty. We have to look at actually how much penalty he has yet. 5 seconds. So I'm not getting the thing wrong. Compliments so far to FG Alex. Personal highlight for me. He's driven a very good race so far. He's had 3 pit stops and he still finds himself up in a points paying position. He's currently on those medium tyres. I dare say he, like C110P fan, we're going onto a set of soft tyres coming into this thing. Now where is Iwardy? He's closing in on positive in the Aston Martin as Dark Tommy sees he is left. Obviously retired a few laps ago. Dr. Garno now back in 16th place. He must have made a mistake somewhere because he's dropped back. Touch Me Pope looks to be on for his 2nd straight victory with just 10 laps to go. I dare say that should he find a permanent seat for next season as Positive gets another time penalty for multiple warnings, I dare say he could be in with a decent chance at a championship next season. May forgive me for saying so, but he definitely looks like a potential title threat come next season of the TakeOver Racing League, when hopefully for him he'll be running a full season. The yellow flag's out in Sector 2, and that looks like Optimus Prime and the AlphaTauri, who's spun it. Yep, he's got himself going again. But poor from him. Definitely not the day AlphaTauri would have wanted. Dr. Garner has passed Iwardy, but he's just passed Positive in the Aston Martin. No damage done to him, but he must have made a mistake somewhere because he's fallen prey to both these two. Smoke and Cheese still running in 3rd place, all secure by the looks of things over Tinky Winky and over C110P fan. We'll keep an eye on those penalties as the race continues to go by as we head towards the closing stage now. As Afro Ninja now has a penalty, as his 2nd one of the day, 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Elusive Ice now within a second, within the DRS range. He's clipped the wall slightly there, no damage done. And he can stay within a second coming towards the next DRS zone. I dare say he could have a decent chance of closing up. If Touch Me Pope makes a mistake, he's got another time penalty though. So on track he could take the lead, but it will need to be a good 10 seconds or so up front in order for it to take any actual effect and him be in the lead for this race. And he didn't get in DRS range that time, so Touch Me Pope most likely will pull away. Iwardy continues to close now on Dr. Guy and I. He was just within half a second going through that last corner. The gap at 0.6 now. I dare say with DRS he'll have a very good chance here on the exit turn 4 going down towards turn 6. He has DRS, but he's not gaining anything. Not a good enough toe for him to definitely not try to go for a move. In these next 2 corners though, Guy and I is a bit wide. Could Iwardy try and capitalise and take P14 away? There's the yellow flag in Sector 3. It looks like Jonkin Gaming someone must have to Jonkin Gaming Elusive Ice. Well, no, he's probably just hit the wall going into the pits. It lost his front wing as well, so that'll make things a lot slower for him. And if my eyes don't deceive me, the rain is starting to fall. So Elusive Ice may have shot himself in the foot here, going onto a set of soft tyres. Paris T32 is in, and the rain is definitely starting to come down now. Will he change onto a set of intermediate tyres come the end of this thing? We got the message a while back the rain was coming. What is he changing onto? Onto a set of intermediates. He's played this perfectly as Paris T32. Optimus Prime also in the pits. But Touch Me Pope's going to have to go all the way back around again on those on those medium tyres before he can go onto the inters. And how hard will it rain? That's the question. We could see a bit of chaos here. Touch Me Pope struggling for control. Smoke and Cheese is up in second place now. He very nearly put it in the wall, but managed to hang on to it. The DRS has been disabled. It's now a wet race. This is it. Paris T32 may have just played this to perfection. He's now on the intermediate tyres at just the right time. He can gain some serious speed here on the leaders. He runs P8. That could change. I dare say that move may have potentially put him up into a podium position come the end of this one. But Touch Me Pope is still in the lead. Smoke and Cheese running second and Tinky Winky in third. He could definitely really close on these guys now. Good Paris T32, but is he too far back to make a difference? That's the question. He may have put himself in a podium position should he continue this speed going through the rest of the lap. The Red Bull of the Pope heading towards, or Touch Me Pope heading towards the pits now. In he comes. Here's the question, will he change onto a set of intermediates or a set of wets? What's he going on to? It's a set of inters. He's away though, very fast pit stop. After a Ninja as a 3-second time penalty, he now has 9 seconds to his name. Touch Me Pope back out on the racetrack by a long shot here. Oh, and Paris T32's made a bit of a mistake there. He's clipped the wall. Has he done much damage to his front wing? I dare say he might have there. It looks okay from a distance. He's had to go really slow for that last corner. Will he have to pit again? He's staying out. He's going to gain a bunch of places now. He comes through the pits. P7, P6. It's 5th place now. Now it's P4. And now it's P3. Up into a podium position goes Paris T32. He's now got to hold off for charging. Tinky Winky 77. Corkin 0. C110P fan and Jordan Gaming and potentially even FG Alex. Come the late stage of this race, Stephen 471. Of course pitted when Paris did, but he's come up behind. There must have been a mistake on that last lap as FG Alex now has a 5-second penalty for crossing the pit lane exit white line before he just didn't rejoin correctly. So right now Touch Me Pope has a dominant lead. This race looks to be over with 6 laps to go. Sorry, 6.5 laps to go at this point. The last couple of corners he comes once again through 6 to 3. Paris currently holding off Tinky Winky. Of course the DRS has been disabled, so it will be a lot harder to make overtakes. I think this will be as heavy as the rain gets at this point. I doubt that there'll be a need for full wets apart from in the last couple of laps. Smoke and Cheese runs second and he's in good position here. Second place to C110P fans. 6th. That's 10 points, meaning he'll have the lead by 4 points going into next week's finale. Iwardy back in P13. We'll have to do the maths here. Smoke and Cheese in second place, and that's 18 points, which he'll be gaining on Iwardy. So his chances are looking very slim. He still has a chance to win the championship, but it's looking very unlikely today after a poor race for the AlphaTauri man. And I question whether that could still change short of a few mistakes late on in this thing. Look how soaked the track is now. But like I say, I doubt that there'll be any need for full wets until really later on in this race. Some drivers might struggle in the wet, others won't. But it looks like everyone's on the right tyres. Positive's on a set of wet tyres. I'm not sure if he'll be gaining from that. There isn't too much standing water on the racetrack. Is there anyone else on the wet tyres as of now? Yep, Paris T32's on them now. He came into the pits and sacrificed his podium place, and he's on a set of wets now. So could this be the start of the turn for everyone else? We'll have to see what the race leader thinks. Is he going to come in? No, he's staying out. He'll be hoping his Singapore Grand Prix doesn't end the same way that Lando Norris's Russian Grand Prix ended. Stayed out and it got too wet and spun off, allowing the car behind him to take the victory. Right now, that car is smoking cheese. C110P fan now up into 5th place. That gives Smoking Cheese the lead by just 2 points. Another place would be enough for C110P to tie the championship. It looks like there's been a spin here. It looks to be positive. Who's slowing up for blue flags just to let someone through. It looks like Stephen 471 has managed to get away with it. He went on to a new set of inters by the looks of things. Oh no, sorry, looks like everyone's just coming around for their first laps on these new intermediate tyres. Paris T32 looking to try and score points. He's got to close down on Afro Ninja come the end of the race as Positive retires from the session, leaving us with just 14 runners in this Singapore Grand Prix. As Touch Me Pope heads for victory, his second consecutive win. As Iwardy's just jumped up into 12th, finally getting his way around Dr. Guy and I. He's got Paris T32 just in front of him for company. Paris T32, his mirrors fall out of one of the championship contenders. There goes Iwardy to the inside, looking for 11th place. Can he get it going into turn 1? It's still side by side. There may have been a bit of contact there. They may have banged wheels a little bit. They may have brushed tyres, and there's definitely contact there as they head through turn 2. And there goes Iwardy through and up into 11th place. And he'll now be chasing down Afro Ninja in the Ferrari. Next time, we're trying a bit wide there in that last corner. 4 more laps to go now in this Singapore Grand Prix, and Touch Me Pope looks to be on, like I say, for his second win on the bounce. AXR Mitch will be looking like lap traffic here. Easy routine overtake for the Red Bull driver. All of one for two different teams coming into this thing. It looks like it will put him up into 9th place in the Drivers' Championship, if my maths are correct. Tinky Winky on for a podium, but I doubt Corkin will let him get away with it. And C110P fans in there to try and challenge should those two collide. Not too long left to go. Corkin looking for that last podium place. It looks like Smoking Cheese has second place secure. He's 14 seconds ahead of the drivers running for that last podium place. Corkin will have to rely on pure speed and potentially a mistake from the Williams in front of him in order to take the last podium place. Although Tinky Winky, look at that now, Tinky Winky does have a penalty, so I think P3 looks to be secure for Corkin. The Williams driver will be just looking to pull away, but he can't do that. Iwardy's still closing on Afro Ninja, trying to get back up into the points to try and make his championship just a little bit more achievable. At this point, it looks like he'd have to finish in the top 2 and have neither one of his 2 rivals score in Italy, which could be entirely possible. There's been a spin here. It looks like FG Alex has spun out, and that puts him down to P9 now. Looks like both Jonkin Gaming and Optimus Prime found their way past him. That's him down to 9th. Iwardy now within 5 seconds. The referee injury is now in sight. The rain looks to be perhaps clearing up a bit. "30 seconds. That's the gap between Touch Me Pope and Smoking Cheese 86. He's got 3 more laps to go. Paris T32 will have to move over for blue flags here. Gave him his chance at podium to go on to another set of intermediate tyres. He made the wrong call shortly after making the right one. Things looked to be going Paris T32's way, but it just didn't really pay off for him, and he's gone back onto the set of inters instead of trying to tough it out. It looks like someone spun out here. Jonkin Gaming's going slow. He spun going into the tunnel. That looks thinking Dr. Guy may have just spun out as well. But he's got himself going again. No damage done to the Alfa Romeo. While his teammate heads for a second place finish, unless Tinky Winky closes in on him, which he is. Corkin doing everything he can to try and close that gap. He's within a second. Getting very close to being within half a second. And C110P fans closing on him. Around 1 second covers third to fifth place. You cover them with a blanket this late on in the race. As Tinky Winky gets another time penalty for, I'm assuming that's track limits, and that should put C110P fan up into fourth place. Those two are battling for third now, as Iwardy has another penalty, but he's managed to take it back up into the points. Have to look at the penalties here late on in this one. The fastest lap currently going to Touch Me Hope at 1:38.6. Oh, there we go. Stephen 471 has the most penalties to his name. That's 14 seconds, but he runs 13.5 in front of Optimus Prime, so it looks like it won't affect him too much. Smoking Cheese has had all his penalties served, but he still runs 30 seconds behind. And Tinky Winky has 6 seconds to his name, and that should allow Corkin and C110P fan both through, provided there's no mistakes in these last 2 and a bit laps. As Touch Me Pope starts his penultimate circuit around the Singapore track. Absolutely dominated today's race since the safety car came out. Of course, there was a point where Elusive Ice looked to be on course to try and take the win, and Tinky Winky was battling him. He briefly took the lead before the safety car came out, and Touch Me Pope took advantage of the strategy. He got an incredible drive away, and it's really paid off for him here. Smoking Cheese now 40 seconds behind. Tinky Winky just behind him here. It does look to have caught up, and we could have a race for second very late on into this thing. And should Smoking Cheese fall back, we could get a last hurrah in a fight between the two title runners, as Tinky Winky tries to make a move on the exit of the corner, but could go for it again. Going into this next left-hander, will he try and go for one around the outside? He's going to go for it. There goes the reserve Williams driver up the outside and around. He goes, he's just about managed to save it. There he goes, but he's dropped a place just like that. He's off the podium, and Corkin now finds himself in the top 3. Both on track, and around goes Tinky Winky at the end of a race that looks so promising for the Williams reserve, but has ended in disaster. He's now down to 6th place, 6-second penalty to his name. It looks like that's all he'll be getting out today. Although he'll still finish 5th by the looks of things, because Stephen for 71 has 17 seconds worth of penalties. As Touch Me Pope now comes round to start his final lap, as Paris T32 gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. That's his first penalty of the race. Smoking Cheese and C110P fan now right there. Now this is where things get interesting. The two title rivals could be going to war here on the Singapore circuit over this next lap and a bit. Around the next lap and a quarter. While Touch Me Pope heads for his 2nd straight victory. He's made such an incredible splash in the TakeOver Racing League so far. He's done so very well today. He did so very well at Silverstone, a clean, collected drive. No one stood in his way. The blue flags continue to stand in his way, as Paris T32 should really be moving over. But on this final lap, we have to appreciate the drive that the Red Bull man has made in today's race. And he's only a reserve. He doesn't actually have a permanent seat in the league. I can guarantee you that next season he'll definitely be wanting one of those. And we could be seeing a potential title threat, or a new one rising in this championship, as he comes round to begin the 3rd sector for the final time in today's race. Yonkin Gaming has a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Smoking Cheese still holding his own against C110P fan. We may have switched to the right time though, because here comes the Alpine on the outside, looking to take the place away. He's on the high side. Smoking Cheese forces him out, and Steven has nothing to gain here because of that 17 seconds worth of penalties, but it can still have a bit of fun here on this last lap. As Touch with Hope is coming round the final corners now to take his second straight victory in the TakeOver Racing League, to take victory at the Singapore Grand Prix. The yellow flags are out. The checker flag has fallen. This race belongs to Touch Me Pope, his second win of the season. Smoke and Cheese still holding on as Stevens pulled away. Is there damage to either one of those two cars? Was it an aggressive move? Looks like they're all okay. But C110P fan will still sit 4 points in front unless things change. No, it looks like he'll sit. Looks like he'll sit 3 points in front, makes it even closer. Iwardy will be gaining 2 points in this race, but looks things maybe only one. He will be gaining 2. Falcon's coming around now, the last couple of corners to take second place. It's a 1-2 for Red Bull. Through the corner he comes to claim second places. C110P fan has a time penalty in the closing stage of this race. It won't do any difference because everyone behind him has a penalty. There's contact on the last lap. Smoke and Cheese is through to take 4th place. He's slowed on the line. It will be 3rd for him. C110P fan takes 4th and leads by 3 points going into next week's championship finale, which you won't want to miss here on the Zach RC channel. It's going to be an absolute cracker of a race as Iwardy, the 3rd and final contender, comes around the last corner to take 9th place. Paris 232 and Dr. Guy are yet to finish, but Touch Me Pope, this race belongs to him. The day belongs to him. He takes his second consecutive race victory. Is there anything this driver can't do? Such a splash he's made in this league so far. Whether he'll be in the final race in Italy, we don't know. But if he is there, you can definitely expect a fight from this reserve driver. Paris T32 now rounding the last corner. His strategy gamble didn't quite pay off at the end of the Singapore Grand Prix. He spun it. He's gone backwards over the line. Wonderful stuff as Dr. Guy, the last finisher, now rounds the last corner and very nearly runs into Paris. What a race this has been. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. And Corkin Zero takes driver of the day for his performance, and a very good performance it was indeed. The second Red Bull coming home in a 1-2 finish. But unfortunately it's his reserve teammate who has taken on the Jarno Otmir avatar for this race. He definitely drove like Otmir today. Incredible drive. So the celebrations begin, and well earned they are. It's victory for Red Bull in the TakeOver Racing League. And C110P fan still leads by 3 points going into next week's championship finale, which you definitely will not want to miss. So one more look at your top 10 before we go here. Touch Me Pope wins the race. Second place goes to Corkin, a 1-2 for Red Bull. Smoke and Cheese finishes 3rd after all those penalties. C110P fan in 4th. Optimash Prime takes a top 5 finish for AlphaTauri. Tinky Winky 6th. Steven 471 7th. Yonkin Gaming 8th. Iwardy in 9th. And Paris T32 in 10th. So that is the end of today's race. We hope you've enjoyed it, and we hope you'll join us next week for the final round of Season 2, the Italian Grand Prix. Thank you. We'll see you then. From me, it's goodbye. Hope you've enjoyed this coverage of the TakeOver Racing League. And that's all I have to say, so goodbye.